Maurizio is a well-loved restaurant that's been in Halifax for over 21 years. We're situated in the downtown core on the waterfront, and it focuses mainly on fine dining northern Italian cuisine. In the Northeast, there are lots of towns that are coastal, and so therefore fresh fish, shellfish are readily available. And so it marries really well with the Italian flair to use local product from Nova Scotia as well.
I think one of the things that makes Nova Scotia lobster stand out is where it's caught. It's caught right off our coast, very healthy waters, which produce one of the finest seafood items worldwide.
And we're here today, we're going to cook some local lobster and we're going to make a risotto. We're an Italian restaurant, so that's a dish that's coming up in the fall months, nice comfort food. We have a beautiful live lobster. He's nice and fresh looking, he's alive and active. So we're going to plunge him in there. Off he goes. Okay, now that we've cooked the lobster about 5 minutes, we're going to remove it from the water and we're going to shock it in an ice bath. Put some ice right away. Let that cool down. That's going to stop the cooking processes right away. When we crack it, we'll get it out of the shell. That way, because we're going to recook it again in the risotto, we don't want it to overcook. If you don't have a cleaver, you can take scissors and just easily snip it up, or a large knife. This works quite well, I find now. One crack, and you got it open. So now you can tell the meat is nice and tender and soft. It's not nice and succulent. It's not overcooked. Okay, now we're going to start with the oil and the onions. We're going to saute those. Okay, now we've browned the onions slightly. We're going to add our arborio rice. It's a short grain Italian rice. And we're going to let the oil gently coat each grain before we add the next ingredient, dry white wine. Very important. We're going to let this evaporate. Remember, the next stop is adding our homemade lobster stock, or you could use fish stock, or even chicken stock if you had it. We're slowly going to add ladle by ladle. So we'll let this cook, and slowly the rice will absorb it, and as it does, we'll continue to add more stock until we get the right consistency. Now we're going to add some of our homemade tomato sauce. You can use canned tomatoes or anything at the store will work. Just going to add a little color and depth to the risotto. We'll stir that in. You can use all parts of the lobster, so we've left some in the shell. We're just going to reheat that. I just have a little garlic butter on that, herb butter. We're going to throw that in the oven. Okay, now we're going to finish off our risotto with our lovely Nova Scotian lobster. We're going to stir that in. It's already been pre-cooked, so it's just going to finish cooking off. Now we're going to add our lovely fresh peas and asparagus. It's going to give it some color, and some more depth of flavor. The great thing about being an Italian restaurant and using local products is people can have Italian food, but we have the ability to use local products. Obviously the lobster is local, asparagus and peas and vegetables and all our fresh herbs we get locally. Give it a little bit of cheese, some Parmigiano Reggiano. Stir this in right at the end, just before serving. And one last ingredient is we're going to stir Italian mascarpone. Okay, now we have a finished product. We're going to plate it. A lovely Nova Scotia lobster risotto, finished with fresh peas and asparagus. Now we're going to finish by garnishing the lobster tail we placed in earlier. Some chive, baby beet shoots, a touch of thyme. And there you have it, the finished product. Nova Scotia lobster risotto with fresh peas and asparagus and garnished with local herbs. Buon appetito!
I think it's important that people buy local seafood. First of all, for the obvious reason to reduce carbon footprint when possible. Second of all, I think it's very important to support local fishermen, and obviously it's very important for infrastructure.